What's up, everyone? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the poggers things in life, like music, content creation, and video games. I am one of your co-hosts, JesseKazam.
And I think I burned some kind of hole in my mouse pad.
From power washing?
Yes, bro. Unironically,
Yeah,
like
just the
so
wiggle.
it's like an integrated like mouse pad. And
Oh,
from doing this
bro,
sorry, let's just check real quick. Power washing simulator. Where's the P in the alphabet?
That's a good question. Elemento?
It's taking a lot longer than it
You got a
should
lot of
have for
Steam
me to-
games, bro.
Bro, I do. Power Wash Simulator 1, 1,300 hours. Power Washing Simulator 2, 1,300 hours. Now, okay, it's probably only 1,300 hours total because
'cause
I
you leave
leave
it
that
open?
game running overnight. So it's literally probably like actually half that.
Why do you leave it running overnight?
Because so Power Washing Simulator has like a weird thing where it's like Alt F4 doesn't work. Like for some reason, like Alt F4 doesn't kill the
Interesting.
game. If you have like certain menus up, like if it's paused, it doesn't work. But if it's so anyway, it's like at the end of the night, I'm like,
You just get up and go.
I just am like end the stream and I'm like Alt F4 and it doesn't work. And I'm like, fuck it, like whatever.
That's crazy.
So,
But yeah,
anyway.
Assuming half, that's 1,300 hours of power washing.
And there's a spot on my mouse pad that is like, you know how if you have like nylon or whatever, and if you like were to like take a lighter to it, it would like make it's like plastic. It would, bro. My mouse is like
you're like friction welding your mouse pad to your desk.
Yeah. So like lately, I've been like playing like this because it's like over here is fine, but like
That's insanity. That's crazy. That's a lot of power washing.
But it doesn't affect. So I have two mice. I have this one that's like a $75 mouse. Okay, the SteelSeries Aerox 3 wireless, super lightweight, super nice, super great. The battery life is approximately 14 seconds, and this one doesn't have the problem. It's like got different like material.
The skates, yeah.
But like it lasts me like less than one stream. This thing, the Logitech G Pro wireless, brother, earlier today, like it's been like blinking red, low battery for like a week now.
Yeah.
It finally just died today. I plugged it in. I talked to chat for like 90 seconds. I unplugged it and it lasted me like another 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like,
dude, Logitech, I have the G502 wireless and I think I charge it once a month.
Yeah.
And I'm in here all the time. Like, the battery life is insane. You should try and, if your other one doesn't do it as much, you should try and just replace the skates on the other one. So
that's too much work. I'm going to replace my desk.
So the reason is I literally just replaced the skates on my mouse this morning because like 2 weeks ago, because like 2 weeks.
What are the chances I would this up?
Yeah, I know. It's insane. And what's crazy is I've needed to replace the skates on my mouse for over 2 weeks, but hadn't until this morning. It was like you and me have this mental connection. We know when there's content to be made. So what happened was like 2 weeks ago I was playing and I like went to like flick. I don't even know if I was playing Tarkov or something. And the skates that come on like the Logitech mice are basically just stickers, like just like smooth stickers. And it caught the edge of the mouse pad and I ripped the skate off. And then I was like, oh, so for 2 weeks I've been playing with one less skate and like all the extra adhesive. It's just been, I'm like wiping my shit every 5 minutes for like 2 weeks. So I finally, I bought, and I got glass ones and I replaced them all. And it's like, holy butter. Butter. It made the mouse feel like it weighed half as much as it weighed before. It's
like
just like
air hockey.
Yeah. Yes, dude. So buttery smooth. So if your other one doesn't do it, you just get you can just Amazon G Pro wireless skates. They're just stickers. So you just take the stickers off.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
One of these. I've got one of.
Holy mice.
These are all Logitech G Pros.
Holy mice.
That stopped working. I think mostly because I think I threw them against the wall.
Run those
Tarkov.
over that spot and see if it's better, because then you'll know it's the skates.
That's icky. I think it's
maybe
just
it
the
is the
spot.
pad. Maybe it is the mouse pad. Yeah.
It's definitely the mouse pad. It's not. Oh, it's not the skate, because like if I do this, it's fine.
Oh, you just move. Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's my natural arm spot.
Yeah. Well, you'll probably have to do the simplest thing, which is rotate your entire setup 40 degrees so that your natural arm spot is just in a different spot.
Brother, every problem in my life is being solved by just moving into my new house. I'm just buying a new desk anyway,
dude.
So
That is exactly what I did when I moved.
My PC now, I'm like, I'll fix it in 2 months. I'm not unplugging anything. I'm not cleaning
Veritas
anything.
is like quite literally yoinking some hard drives, some RAM, and some GPUs, and then just burning the rest of this office down and building a new one.
Yeah, dude. I'm legitimately excited to do some like power washing sim, video game cleaning, restoration sim IRL, where it's like I take all the keycaps off and wash them in water. Because like my GoXLR, I've like sneezed on it 800 times. You know what I mean? It's just like everything is grody and nasty. I'm excited to just like wipe down every cable, and it's gonna be nice.
I clean nothing in my office other than the keyboard does get me. Like once every month or two, I'll pull all the keycaps off and clean it, because my hand is on it so much it gets grody, and I'm like, I just feel it and then I can't unfeel it. Well, I haven't like cleaned the dust off the radiator for my water cooled PC since I got it. Like there's probably 2 inches of dust caked on there, but I will clean the keyboard.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's that.
Nice.
As you saw, I've been making lots of progress with the video.
Lots of progress.
Bro, I like bit the bullet. It's crazy. I've been doing this for so long, and I'm still like developing a process.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
You would think that I would have it by now, but now I've got that like Obsidian thing. I'm tracking everything, and so I'm going through and marking all of the spots of the video where I'm gonna have. I've tried a million different variations of this, where it's like you show a clip from a video and you like pop up with like a title YouTube channel of the video as like a reference. Yeah. I'm like sick of having like pop-ups. In my opinion, they can like they're good to have, but they're distracting visually. I don't need like a animation YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Especially if I have like a montage where I'm showing like 15 seconds of a clip. So I decided what I'm going to do is just like the first one I do in the beginning of the video, I'm going to have like a little one pop up in the corner, and I'm going to say like all my references are going to be here. And then like there's a Google Doc with all the links.
So it's like the number. So like this clip is number 27. And then you can, if you want the source, you pull up the Google Doc, you find the 27th bullet point, and that's the source for this.
Yeah, because then it can be really subtle. It can be really small. I don't have to design something complex and animate it and make it look pretty and whatever. And because part of this is that like, because I'm talking about like law enforcement stuff and a lot of legal stuff, context and sources are relevant and kind of matter.
Yes, for sure.
And I'm cutting a lot of the before and after in the middle out of all of these things. So, and it's like cancer trying to find some of these things sometimes. The one channel that I've watched the most, Audit the Audit, they have like 500 or 600 videos. I've watched every single one at least once. I'm going to go through all of them again before I'm done with this video, by the way. Because there's something I want to do with all the grades and like compiling them all because it gives at the end of every episode it gives a grade, and I want to try. I'll talk about that in a minute, but that channel always has a link to the original video, and like if it references cases, it'll have a link to the cases. Like case law, it'll have a link to like the body cam and the dash cam and the YouTube video of the original auditor. They have everything. all the fucking police officer reaction videos, they were just like, check this out, start playing it, no context, you don't know who
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to know, and also they put fucking subtitles over the top, and the subtitles are like, no one knows how to do subtitles. There's just no videos anymore where the subtitles aren't wrong. It's impossible.
Yeah.
And like what people are saying
Matters.
So yeah, so I've been going and trying to find all the original things, and so that I can not have annoying cuts and yeah. So, but I want to be the change I want to see in the world, right? So I'm gonna have all of the fucking links to all the things, with all the context and everything. So that's what I've been spending my time doing, just going through, watching everything I've edited so far, and marking where I need to put subtitles later, where I need to put
like a credit.
Reference, and then I have to go back, and I made the mistake of doing editing. I have like 2.5 hours done.
Damn.
And
what percent of the video would you say that
70?
Okay.
70%.
Yeah, okay. So we're thinking 3.5
It's gonna be 4
3.5
hours.
4
Yeah. I just can't. Yeah.
I love this about you. It's on brand.
I hate it. I get so many people that are like, why don't you just make this into 4 parts?
That's
it's like,
get out of here with that.
Imagine taking any single movie that you've seen and then saying, well, what if they just released that in 4-episode miniseries?
Yeah.
It fucks up it wasn't designed that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a couple of clips I have where officers and citizens are kind of like blah, 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 really fast back and forth in English and Spanish, but like switching, and no one's ever around when I'm editing to be able to just like give me a translation. I just want somebody to tell me like, what is he saying?
Yeah.
So if you're like a native Spanish speaker, like I speak an okay amount of Spanish, but like not enough to be able to, like, when two people are talking over each other really quickly, I'm too much of a gringo for that. So if any native Spanish speakers want to like roll up and
by
be like,
the stream while you're
Spanish,
editing,
help a brother out. If you took like 2 years of Spanish in high school, it doesn't count. I'm sorry. I've been making a bunch of progress with that.
Oh yeah.
My interview with Sergeant Curtis got delayed. He's busy, so it's
still happening potentially.
We were gonna touch base.
Okay.
This could be for all I know, it could be the way that he's gonna be like, hey man, sorry I can't do next week. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and then it's
so I'm looking forward to that, and just chugging it out. I'm moving, fingers crossed, in September. So
dude, still on
like,
track for that?
Should be done. The house should be done.
Sick. That's so
in August.
Close.
So I mean, it's 8 weeks.
Yeah, holy cow.
And so I want to be like done, ship the video before I have to pack up my entire life.
That's a very fair goal. And with the rate you've been going, I feel like that's very possible.
Yeah. So the major thing that's going to hold me up, I still have some writing to do for the script, but is getting mustering up the courage to do some of the IRL stuff. Yeah,
that you wanted to do.
It's just so cringe walking around with a camera.
Yeah.
And I'm not even doing cringy stuff.
No, but
it's just like,
I understand.
It's so hard to not look like a douchebag when you're in public with a camera. Just by default.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that would be worse, and I could lean into it. I should just wear like a mask, and I should have, oh my God, bro. I've got this thing. I can mount camera, cell phone camera, and then I should have an iPad camera. I just lean into it.
Just go all in.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
The iPad camera.
And then GoPro on the head-mounted GoPro in addition to that.
Yeah. I do have 2 GoPros, and a head strap
drone
and a chest strap.
Drone following you.
I've looked into drones. It's where I'm too close to an airport, unfortunately.
That sucks. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that, and then but I bought a typewriter.
Nice.
I've been doing a ton of testing. I should have grabbed it, but I don't have it. I've got like nice, like 25% cotton, like cream colored legal paper.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
a typewriter. I've got one of those red like pencil, like the ones that like teachers graded back in the day when they actually did things. And all of the references to all of the case law, I'm gonna basically type out like the Supreme Court paperwork.
Oh, okay.
Rather than do the PDF made into a paper on Photoshop.
Yes. Yes.
With like the digital highlight.
100%.
I want to do like practical, and Meg has a macro lens.
Okay.
And I've got one of those little tiny like that like I don't know what it's called. It like I think it just helps you make minute adjustments to where your camera
is. The focus. Oh.
Because because when you're trying to get something in focus with a macro lens, it's such a narrow depth of field.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of times it's easier to use one of the things that just like shifts it.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and I just got to figure out, I got like this leather like desk mat, and I want to do a bunch of footage where it's like looking at the paper, at different angles, typing on the typewriter as just like an alternative to the thing that is in every video these days, which is paper, skeuomorphic, highlighter over the text. Like, it's cool and all, but I've just seen it.
You just want to push the needle. You want to do something new, 100%.
So
that's sick. Hell yeah, bro. That's exciting.
Yeah, and then there was big news. You remember Trooper Proctor?
He was from the other case.
Reed.
Karen Reed. I couldn't think of her name, but yes.
The Karen Reed, Canton, Massachusetts cop.
What happened to him?
Whatever.
What happened to him?
Okay, so there's like 9 lawsuits going on right now. Everyone is suing everyone.
After what happened, everyone is suing everyone for everything.
She got acquitted of like the murder stuff. She just got like basically a DWI charge. And now it's like the family of John O'Keefe, the victim, is like suing wrongful death, like the 2 bars.
Gotcha.
That they were drinking at for like which is those lawsuits aren't going to win.
Yeah.
But also suing Karen, like wrongful death.
Yep.
But then Karen is suing every single person that's ever known someone in law enforcement in Massachusetts.
I mean, yeah.
And then there's also defamation lawsuits from like the other families that were like in the house. Like it's all over the place.
It's so messed up that after like all that, like, you took us through in excruciating detail, like all that stuff that had happened. And you're just like, and when you're thinking about the case, you're like, man, these are real people whose like lives are getting turned upside down. Somebody really died. And then like, here we are cut to like a year later and you're like, damn, bro, the winners really are always the lawyers. It's like, it's just like it's chum infested waters and there's sharks. Ooh. Like there's 40 lawyers all getting employed. It's like when a hurricane comes through.
She has 10 lawyers.
Yeah. It's like when a hurricane comes through, the roofing companies always win. It's like even when something sad happens, somebody always wins. And it's like to hear that like everyone is suing everybody, like all the lawyers are just like, fuck yes, bro. This is the best thing that ever happened. Like, and that makes me sad.
Dude, I was watching just some like random, just court stuff happening, and it was like a Zoom call. It looked like the Brady Bunch, and like half of the blocks were just lawyers. Yeah. Just 10 lawyers.
Okay, so Trooper Proctor.
So Trooper Proctor was the lead investigator at the Mass State Police. Now this happened in Canton, Massachusetts. Now it very quickly got I forget the terminology. They recanted themselves. The Canton recused. Thank you. Recused themselves from the case, the Canton PD. So it went over to the Mass State Police, and like Trooper Proctor was the lead investigator. And there was a bunch of controversy because basically like a bunch of the text messages that he had sent, where he basically was like talking about Karen, like he's like texting his buddies, either that are cops or like high school buddies, being like, I confiscated her phone looking for nudes, none yet. just talking
They
about
made him
her.
read the text messages, right? Out
They
loud.
made him read the text messages about like her balloon knot and all this.
Oh, fuck
bro,
that
and let
guy,
me tell
bro.
you, the text messages that he sent from that case, child's play
No.
compared to what has come out
No.
in the last few weeks. Now, a preliminary comment.
Okay.
There is an 87-page lawsuit, Karen Reed versus Mass State Police, the Canton Police Department. 87-page lawsuit.
Okay.
If I read you if I just read the first 3 pages on stream, I would be permanently banned.
Sick.
Now after like 50 pages, that's where they start with exhibits. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna tiptoe here. But this kind of stuff is like, listen, people need to be held accountable for the shit they do and the shit they say. And you know how we hold law enforcement accountable is by reading their text messages on a podcast about video games. So, the first exhibit, all it says is a piece of paper that says, see like the attached thumb drive.
Yeah.
And it's basically like a dump of all the like everything on Trooper Proctor's phone going back like 5 years.
Fuck.
So I'm just going to read. All right. Page 1, page 2. Okay. I'm on page 3. What I'm reading to you are text messages sent between Trooper Proctor and Officer Sean Good, who is at the Canton Police Department.
Okay.
So this is the first one in the lawsuit. So this is after, and this is actually from an audio recording.
Okay.
I believe. Trooper Proctor is talking to Officer Good about him responding to a multi-car accident in Canton.
Okay.
Actually, take your time. I saw a very bad slur, hard R slur, was involved. So I wouldn't rush if you're working. Let them die.
Oh my God. No way.
That's just the first message, by the way. My new VP is a giant malignant C word. I pray to the heavens that some fucked up insect from the Amazon crawls up her, hatches eggs, and the litter kills her by eating her from the inside out. Sean Good responds with biggest C word. Michael Proctor, referring to his then girlfriend, now wife's anus. Yeah, that definitely worked. I can't even get fucking near that thing. I make every effort possible. I wait till she's asleep. I try to get at it. I try every effort possible. I try to get her hammered. Can't get anywhere near it. It's starting to piss me off. It's not cool.
Bro, arrest these guys. What the fuck?
Went into Canton High School this morning to get a transcript and saw more in 10 minutes than the 4 years I spent there combined. Everywhere I looked, there were monkeys running around. Wanted to ask the woman in the guidance office, where were all the white kids? Where the fuck did all these come from?
Dude, what? Oh my God. These are real people. Dude, arrest them.
Deport their asses. I don't care if they're here legally or what their excuse was. Fucking deport those. Detroit should be destroyed along with places like Flint, Michigan. They are breeding grounds for to run wild. It should be punch a day in Canton today out of retribution.
Dude.
All a different slur for Asians. I'm not even going to read the rest of the text. That one.
Yeah.
The last one I'll read here, and this is, we're on page 3. America sucks. Hitler was really onto something. Then the fucking U.S. had to step in and ruin it.
That Trooper Proctor sent that.
Uh-huh.
Dude,
Oh, sorry. Also, he said Anne Frank is a lying C word.
Dude.
I don't know why she's catching strays here,
dude.
but
there's like this dude. Oh my god, dude! It's just his brain is leaking the 4chan that he's got up in there everywhere. That's so like, bro.
The messages are just
the
full
mans.
of. They're just full of. It's every single slur for every group you can imagine. Every single slur, every group. Tons of sex crimes. And it's all about how all of the cops drive around hammered, wasted all the time. And all they do is be like, yo, there's a checkpoint here. There's a checkpoint there. Like, they're all helping each other just drunk drive.
And that, dude, and it goes back to what we were talking about last week, where it's like, if you're a police officer that genuinely loves your job and loves the law, and you clock in every day and you put your life on the line and you try your best, like, you gotta be standing up saying, get these guys the fuck out of here, right? Like, you can't be defending this. Like, you get them, like, get them out. Like, that's, dude. Oh my god.
This is what, like,
that's terrifying.
So I just sent you a message on Discord. Bro. I just sent you a message on Discord that I'm gonna delete. That is just like, that's what every page looks like,
dude.
It's just Y, Z, A, A, B, B, C, C, D, D. Dude. Just exhibit.
Get them out of here.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
And it was, and you know what's funny? So Sean Good was still employed right up until like this came out. He was still employed. He was on leave, a paid leave. Former Trooper Proctor was fired, but he was in the process of appealing, basically saying like wrongful termination.
Yeah.
And then this came out and he unrepealed it. But, so I got in contact with the court clerk for the Bristol County Superior Court, I believe it is, and tried to go through some stages there. Ultimately, I have now emailed all of the lawyers, 4 of her main lawyers. My understanding is I think I'll be able to get the files from the thumb drive. Allegedly, they've like distributed them, but they're nowhere. I wonder if like it's just so bad that no one's like willing to just like put it on YouTube. I'm like tempted to just like put it on YouTube. Yeah. So, but it's just like, how do you? It's just one of those things where is it a one-off, right? Or is it indicative of a systemic thing?
Yeah.
Because like if you have 1,000 boxes, cubbies with like black tape covering the contents, and you like grab one, open it, grab the other, open it, and they're both filled with shit.
Yeah.
It's like, did I just get lucky with these two?
Yeah.
Or are like all of them filled, or half of them, or what?
And the important issue here is like, or an important distinction here is like, let's use the cubby analogy, right? So we can kind of distance ourselves from just saying cops every time.
Yeah.
If you're responsible for that classroom where all the cubbies are in, and you open up one and it's full of shit, at that point, it could be like, it could go either way. Maybe some kid's being a dick and he filled his thing with shit, or maybe there's a thing here. An important thing that I think is worth mentioning is that it doesn't, if there are 100 cubbies, it doesn't have to be that there are 51 of them filled with shit before we're allowed to say it's a systemic issue. If you walked into a classroom and of 100 cubbies, 12 of them were full of shit, you would look at the teacher weird and be like, do you clean this classroom? Mm-hmm. If one of them was full of shit, you'd be like, who's the little idiot that's giving you a hard time?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's an important thing too, where it's like, to say that there may be a systemic issue with this isn't even to say most cops are bad, right? If 15% of the cops exist like this, you can say most cops are good cops and there's a systemic issue. Because that's enough, right? So it's like, that's the thing. It's often played as a one or the other. You know what I mean? To say that there's a systemic issue means you are implying most cops act this way. And it's like, I don't believe that. But I believe that like situations like this are very rarely officers acting in secret, attempting to conceal their actions. Like when the layer is peeled back, when you get the body cam footage, when you get the text messages, when you get the radio calls, it's often like a very, like, yeah, this is how we do it. They're talking to other people about it. They're not trying to hide it. So it's like both things can be true, right? I can believe that most people in this profession love their job, are good at their job, and are fighting to be the best they can at their job. And that maybe there are systemic issues. Yeah. That enough of them aren't that it's doing damage, right? Like,
yeah, and this is such a, just like all these other things, it's just so big, interconnected with a million things that it's like, it's like social media and algorithms. It feels like it's too big to be solvable.
Yeah.
Because it's like, so let's just say Mr. Cop Law Johnny Awesome, someone will get that reference.
Johnny Awesome.
Joins the force and he's like, I really want to do, like, good heart, wants to do the right thing, and like 80% of his, maybe it's a small town and there's like 10 cops and like 7 or 8 of them are like racist dickheads.
Yeah.
And including like the chief.
Yeah.
You speak up, you're just gone. So like you can't make a difference. You like it's like the best you could do. And the same goes with like government and politics. It's like, it seems like it could be one of those situations where like the good cops are kind of paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the best they can do is effectively exist in the system and do what they can do.
Yeah.
To like, you know, if they leave, another cop will come in and that they could be bad. So like me occupying space and doing a little good while being like impotent in terms of like fixing any larger systemic problems. I just don't know how.
Yeah, like you said, it's complicated. It's large. It's definitely not something two dudes that aren't cops on a podcast are ever going to fix anytime soon. But it is just when you see stuff like this come out and it's so flippant, like you said, there's no, like those text messages don't read like he was like, you know, shh, and then like just talking to his one boy. If he's yelling it loud and clear, if he's talking about all the other cops and all the shit that they do, it's like, is there a chance he's lying? And he's for sure, maybe, but it's like, it doesn't take, I don't have to be a law enforcement expert to go, ew, gross, fuck that guy, arrest him, get him, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll stand on that hill for the rest of my life. Like there's no, when you hear that kind of stuff, there's no, well, let's get more context. It's like,
oh yeah, I also forgot to mention, he mentioned a few things like planting cocaine on people.
Sick.
Like framing. So, which is like, I wonder how many cases are now, it's like every woman and minority that has been prosecuted by this guy's cases is going to get re-examined because no, it's bad news.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, other than that, the only other news worthy thing is the juxtaposition of ChatGPT every day becoming simultaneously incredibly impressive, how much it can do, how much work it can do, while also simultaneously being so utterly dog shit at like so many basic things. I was just watching a video where it was like someone just asked it. There are like these hundreds of math problems that this one math guy back in the day, like in like the 1950s or whatever, I don't remember the details of the video. It was the like stand-up math YouTube channel guy, I think, that did a video on this recently, where it like the guy just asked ChatGPT to like solve problem like 1, 3, 3, 4 or whatever.
Yeah. And
these are all like big time, decades long math problems that haven't been like, they haven't had proofs. And there's like big money in solving. And like ChatGPT took 80 minutes to think and then just like solved it with just a single prompt. So it's like, holy fuck. And then I tried to get clever, and what I wanted to do was go through. So I have Between the YouTube channel Audit the Audit, there's one called Lackluster, another one called Long Island Audits, Sergeant Curtis, and Sergeant Steve. So 2 cops, 2 auditors, and Audit the Audit, who I see as kind of like independent in the middle. What I wanted to do was basically take, of all their videos, there's 2,486. So I was able to use ChatGPT. Actually, no, I didn't use, well, yeah. I went to their channel, clicked on videos, and then just hit page down where it loaded all the videos. And then I just clicked on the page and hit Control A, Control C, and went into ChatGPT, Control V, and was like, parse the titles.
Yeah.
For these channels. So what it did is it extracted all the titles from the channels. And what I wanted to do was basically, I wanted to classify whether or not a title was either critical of a citizen, positive towards a citizen,
interesting,
critical of law enforcement,
or positive towards
towards law enforcement, or neutral.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to see, like, I mean, just reading through a random collection. So Sergeant Steve's videos. The moment a delusional rebel realized she's nothing. 24-year-old bites a cop and thinks he can drive away. Karen's meltdown over McDonald's order ends in 6 felonies. So that's like a cop's title. Long Island Audits. Police dispatcher hates transparency, loses it over a camera. Unhinged state police sergeant. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then Audit the Audit. What you get is much more of, like, there's still clickbait YouTube-esque titles that have to be, but it's like, okay, wait, this one's crazy. The first one I scrolled to and clicked on, dog riding motorcycle detained. I don't not sure about that one. But like, officer orders citizen to stop recording.
Yeah.
Officer detains citizen for wearing a mask. I'm in my yard, quote. Officer detains drone pilot. So it's like,
those are much less.
And so I was like, classify these for me, because I want to basically, what I think is the case, my hunch is, and I want to like do some analysis, is that like the cop channels are almost all of them, they're all critical of citizens.
Yep.
The audit channels are critical of police.
Yep.
Audit the Audit is like a mixture of like all 4.
Yeah.
It's like citizen stands up for blah, blah, blah. Officer stands up against other corrupt police, like those types of things. Yeah. And I wanted to, see the framing of how this is all consumed. But it's so, like, I have it do the analysis, and I went through like 7 iterations where it's like, oh, I'm going to improve. Yup, there's these problems. Oh, I'm going to fix it. And like, after the latest update, dumb man thinks he can outsmart the cops is neutral, where it's like, okay, that should be critical of a citizen.
Yeah.
Woman punches cops while trying to save her husband. That's positive towards law enforcement. Apparently, according
to the ChatGPT.
I'm like, ChatGPT, you're
drunk.
Yeah. So it's just like not. So I'm working through trying to do that, but that's kind of a fun little side project. Which may or may not.
This Google's is the one that Google owns Gemini.
Maybe there's Claude, there's Gemini. I don't use any of
Claude
the other.
and ChatGPT are like their own companies. Facebook has one and Google has one. And I don't remember which one it is.
Is it just like Meta AI or?
I don't know. Anyways, whichever one Google is on, that shit is weird all the time. A YouTuber that I follow, I like his videos a lot. He was saying, he was like watching content creator. I'm going to keep all the details out because this is one of those stories where any one of the details would derail it, because that would everyone would just focus on that. A content creator was reacting to one of this guy's videos, and then that content creator's chat was like, yo, this guy's got some mad problematic views, right? And the content creator was like, no, please no, this guy's videos are sick. But then the guy I watch is like, wait, I don't hold that problematic opinion. So he Googled himself and he said, is, Ben Jordan, do I have this? No. And the Google Gemini thing was like, yeah, oh, he said this, that, and that. And when he clicked on the sources, it was like a different guy, like a reporter in Wyoming named Ben that said that fucked up shit. And the AI was attributing it to him. And then the chat of this huge content creator was like, that guy's problematic as fuck. And then it was like, he was like watching this happen in real time. And he was like, no. And I was like,
oh my God,
my nightmare,
dude.
Bro. My nightmare.
Fake news cancel culture. Actually, I mean, I literally, one of the videos I just watched was a guy who gave his ID to the cops. They went and just ran his name, found he had like a bunch of like domestic abuse, like warrants.
No.
And they like arrested him and it ended up like throwing him to the ground. It was really bad. It was like way too much force was used. And it just turns out it was like a different like Joe Smith or whatever.
Nightmare.
And they just like didn't really check into it very hard.
Nightmare.
And so like that's like when the police want your name, like what, like if you did nothing wrong, you have nothing to worry about. Is like, no, there's an answer for how like me interacting with you in any way can fuck me and I can do nothing wrong. So that's why people are like, just leave me alone. I don't want to answer your questions. I don't want to talk to you.
You're
Oof. So
damn. Well, before we move on, I want to take a quick second and thank the sponsor for this episode, something that'll never steal your wrong, and that is The Perfect Gene, i.e., that's me in the eye patch there. Those are totally my abs, 1,000,000%.
They're your pants.
Yeah, they are my pants. The Perfect Gene is the ultimate pair of jeans made out of the most premium perfect jean. It is the perfection of jean material, okay? Because you had really stiff jeans for a really long time, and then everybody was making these super stretchy jeans that were like not even jeans. They were basically sweatpants, but they look like denim. And this is the beautiful hybrid. They are jeans. They feel like jeans. They are jean material, but they have just enough stretch, just enough give to make them comfortable before and after you eat your Thanksgiving turkey. They have every cut. Look at that. Look at that. You can get skinny, thick, slim, thick, athletic, thick cut, boot cut in
med blue, 26-inch, 52-inch.
Yeah, it's just like
all the things.
You have every waist, every length, every color, every wash, every style of jean. It's the worst part about jeans. Shopping for jeans is being in the store and you have 6 pairs of jeans in your hands. They're all almost the one you want. They have the right length, but not the right waist, or the right waist and not the right length. And then you're like looking through you're flipping through all the jeans, trying to find the perfect one. The perfect jean, you just click your numbers and you got it. They're amazing. They're comfortable. They feel great. They look amazing. They are premium. They last long. And it's just like, it's the perfect jean.
Bro, I'm just gonna do the rest of the podcast like this.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
take your shirt off, show the washboard abs. Yeah.
Oh, bro. We don't want to talk about
the stretch.
Talk about the abs. No, I'm sucking in the gut because your homeboys got fat and I like don't fit in half my shit. Literally had to go buy like a whole bunch of t-shirts and all that kind of stuff, and the jeans. No problem. You think that'd be the worst part, but no. So
nope.
Dude, I absolutely love every aspect of them, from the fit, the comfort, the stretch. They're not like some jeans after you wash them a couple times, I don't even know how to describe it. They're changed.
Yeah.
They're just different. Yeah. They're only good until you wash them.
Permanently altered.
These are not like that at all. Yeah.
Yep, 100%. And they've been doing a bunch of other stuff. They've got some tees. I'm pretty sure they have like the Den khakis. They have like, they're expanding out. They do a bunch of other stuff. It's all super high quality. It all fits super well. With the jeans are goated. So our listeners can get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectgene.nyc or Google The Perfect Gene and use promo code ThePogcast15. That is promo code ThePogcast15 for 15% off and free shipping on your first order at theperfectgene.nyc or Google The Perfect Gene. Thank you to The Perfect Gene for sponsoring this episode.
Thank you for literally covering my ass.
Thank you for literally covering my ass. Yep. Dun, 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 dun. Bro, over in my land, dude, I had a beautiful weekend. I was playing this game. We talked about it a little bit last week, but I was playing this game called Hunger. Yes, bro. Obviously, I've been excited for War Dogs, and I've been playing Tarkov.
Katniss Everdeen,
and
I loved it.
Yes. Oh, yeah, we talked about the horrible SEO, where if you Google Hunger, you just get food channels. And if you Google Hunger Game, you just get the Hunger Games. But, dude, what I love about it is that it just came out of nowhere for me, right? Like last year, I spent like 6 months like waiting for like Arc Raiders. You know what I mean? I've been waiting for War Dogs for forever, you know? And there's just something about just being like, oh, that game looks cool. And then I can just play it today. And I got lucky enough because it was just a tech test, technically a pre-alpha tech test. There were 3 days where it was under NDA. You could play, but I couldn't stream it. And then the NDA lift on Friday. And the test was going to go from Friday to Monday, but then they extended it to Wednesday. So I was able to play Friday, Monday, Tuesday. And, bro, it's really good, especially for where it is in development. But it really surprised me and really grasped me. So I can't remember exactly what we talked about last week, but that whatever we talked about last week was before I could really dive into it, because I only played a little bit and it was off stream and it was under NDA. But now that I have the time, it really is more, and this is kind of like how I'd been explaining it all weekend as people ask me. It is way more an MMO that just happens to also be set in smaller instanced maps where PvP is always on and it's full loot PvP. It's way more that in design than it is like an extraction game that borrows MMO things, right? Because like Tarkov, Tarkov, when you go to the website, Tarkov is an MMO, but really it's a shooter game and it's an extraction shooter that borrows elements from RPGs, like soft skills that grow over time. There's crafting, right? There's tasks. Like it borrows some of these elements, but this feels the other way around, where it feels more like an MMO that borrowed the tension creation that comes from, what if you were doing all your MMO things in a full loot PvP always on mode where you have to extract to get out? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's, first of all, the game has got sauce. Like I wish you could just boot up the game and just watch the intro cinematic. Like the game has like however you would define like vibes, it nails it. Like it's not a game where you're playing and you're like, oh, this is like Call of Duty, but this like we talked about that with War Dogs, where all shooter games now are just like guy with fast MT, suppressed M4, tanks rolling by. Like it's really hard to separate them all. They all look the same. Like this game is just like dripping in like aura. It just like it has the sauce. This
is okay. Listen, you said vibe, sauce, aura.
Yeah.
It's
hard to
I was born before the 90s, nay, before the 2000s, nay, before 2010. So I don't know what any of those words mean.
But that's what I'm trying to say is it's just like, you just remember walking around Tarkov and you were just like, you would have like, think about like being in early Tarkov. There was some level of like love and appreciation for the game that you were like addicted to that had nothing to do with anything with gameplay. It was like the fact that the world stressed you out, the fact that the maps felt cool. Like there's just like separate from the mechanical gameplay. Like we can talk about like how the quests work and this and that, but there was just like walking around the world just in and of itself elicits a really good amount of emotions that not every game does. Some games you're just in the world so that you can experience the mechanical side of it.
Yeah.
But they have, it's an amalgamation of a bunch of things. They have really good sound design, both in the sound effects, but also in like the music and the eeriness. They have really good map design. They have a really cohesive world. So it's like a lot of that. It's like they have a really good art direction. However you like if you were to, an atmosphere is another good word for it. However you assemble all those things, all those like sans gameplay things, the sum of that, I give an A+. Like that part of it is just also really good. Like for example, one of my favorite things about the game is in the post Tarkov extraction shooter world, we've seen so many variations of, this is a small thing. So like, this is like already like nitty gritty stuff as opposed to like big gameplay elements. In a post Tarkov world, we've seen every flavor of like the containers that are lootable tell you they're lootable. Whether that's because they're brightly colored and colored different than the other containers. Some games like Delta Force and ABI, there will just be outlined. Like maybe Delta Force did that, ABI didn't, I don't remember. But like, it's so obvious what's a lootable container, and it's so obvious what's like bucket.jpg just put in the corner. In this game,
but like not in a obvious like glowing green,
some
purple.
go that far. Yes, that's kind of what.
Okay, so are you saying that's?
I'm
good?
saying I hate that. What I'm saying is that in a post Tarkov world where extraction shooters have tried to be more and more and more and more like a game for everybody, we've seen stuff like that where just like,
okay, I thought you were saying that this was in this game.
No, it's just like going crazy. What I love about Hunger is that I was like 30 hours in, and we were like, oh my God, I didn't know you could loot that. It was just a random jar on a table, and you can walk up and it's like loot, and it's like, oh, and it actually searches and there's loot in there. It's all like, it all looks exactly like it just should be there. And the game doesn't tell you. You have to like walk all the way up to something and you see that it's lootable. Even loose loot things don't feel obvious. Like on a table, there's just like a bunch of stuff. There's like pens and paper and this, and then there's this little like ampule looking thing. And if you hover over that, that's a med, that's a heal. And you can pick that thing up off the table. You can't pick everything up, right? No game is there, but it's like, it's super, what's the word?
No, there was a game that was there, and it was called Starfield, and every single item
was garbage.
Was trash.
Yeah, true.
Everything was a pen and a vial and a beaker and a whatever, and
yeah, it's super, I can't think of the word. I know there's a word, but like it's all very intentional and very minimal in like how much it handholds. It's immersive.
Yeah,
immersive, and it's very rewarding of like slow exploration. And because of that, the loot quantity in a POI is actually ridiculously high. Now, it's not all endgame loot, you know what I mean? But like I watched Sequisha spawn in and spend 35 minutes in a POI. He was fighting PvP, then he was looting, and then a player came up.
Like a house or like a factory?
It was like a small, like, so the game is set in like 1800, like Napoleonic era. So imagine a small camp of soldiers, like made camp for where they were going to be for a few weeks. Like rough wooden walls in a circle, maybe 20 or 30 tents where like two people could sleep. And then like the commander tent where like the fancy guys would be. That POI, 35 minutes in there, and then just ran to the extract because he was full, and like he killed a couple players that came through that POI. And that like, and that was 5% of the map.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like, it's always kind of annoying in some games where it's like you have a massive, giant, like factory kind of building that like would have so much stuff, but they need to kind of go with the whole like, oh well, this has been abandoned for 8 years, so clearly marauders have come through and scavengers, and they've like, picked it clean, so to speak. Mm-hmm. There's never like anywhere that is like as rich as you would like want it to be. I can imagine that being like a little bit of a double-edged sword. I mean, I'm sure it's something that like I would have to experience to be able to judge, but like knowing, there's a fine balance, and it's challenging designing a game where you know what's interactable and you know what isn't. Yeah, because like what you want to avoid are like giant flashing things neon that are just signs. Like but then also the fact that like there are things in Tarkov that's like a box of cigarettes that is like box of cigarette.jpg that's just like a part of the trash asset number 7 that is the same like Lucky Strike design as like the Lucky Strikes you need for fucking quests and shit.
Yeah.
So like there is something to be said for like being able to come up with a visual language, and I bet you there's, I mean, if I've learned anything from all these years like looking at games and game design, is that like the most clever, best solution is one that we haven't figured out. Like, no, we haven't seen yet that someone's going to do. And like, how did we not think of this?
Yep. Now, they do follow the traditional RPG. When you've picked up an item and you like click tab and you're looking at it in your inventory, it is either gray, green, blue, purple, or gold. Like they're...
Fuck me. I haven't played any of those games for more than like 10 minutes to know if green is better than blue is better. Like, like purple, is that better than gold? I don't know, dude. I've never learned the rules.
It's, I mean, you're not going to remember this,
like,
but it's
like Fortnite
in order of from least to most rare: gray, green, blue, purple, gold, red.
Green, blue, purple?
Yep.
Gold, red.
And red is only there because of like...
Why is blue better than green? Is there any internal logic, or is it like it's entirely arbitrary?
Yeah,
right?
Genuinely, probably like Diablo did it in like 1982, and just nobody ever changed it since.
I'm sure it goes back way further than
probably
than
the only
Fortnite.
The only thing that it goes way further back than Fortnite. The only reason why red exists is it's like loot inflation, where like after how many decades of gold being the best, there just needs to be something better than gold, and so it's like fuck, we got to pick red. So, anyways,
it's my favorite color too, so I'm not gonna complain.
So that's just kind of like an aside on the fact that I loved being in this world. So the setting of the world is it's like Napoleonic era, and it was called the Blight, and then the zombies are the Hunger.
Little did you know this is the world of Interstellar.
Yes,
before.
Bro.
It's the same.
Oh yeah,
Blight.
the Blight. Yeah. So the Blight took over. It's got like really good vibes for like the lore and the intro cinematic, and there's this like island, this like chateau. So like, have you ever seen those in like France where it's like an island where the whole thing is like turned into a building? It's like a small island, and so I don't know. It's a chateau. That's the main hub. And you leave from the chateau and you go on expeditions out into the maps.
Is there like a moat, or like, what are we talking?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't. Anyways, it's not important. So that's like the setting.
No, I want to talk. Let's talk about this fucking.
Let's talk about the fucking moat. So vibes out of control for me personally.
Is there magic? Is there a supernatural element?
Which I mean, it's supernatural in the fact that these are undead beings trying to kill you.
It's not like a zombie outbreak. It is like a demonic-esque kind of thing, or
no,
like...
I think it is a sickness. Like, it's not zombie. I don't think it's zombie where they like died and are undead. I guess there's a little bit of supernatural, but not really. It's not supernatural. I'm not like casting fire bolts. We're not like summoning people from the dead. There's not like necromancy.
But like in Hunt Showdown, that to me, there's magic. That's a game with magic.
Okay, well then you would say this is magic, which is fine. Yes, so it is a world where like there is a sickness and there's grotesque monsters and stuff like that. But it's much more grounded than like Dark and Darker, where like you can't play as the mage. I'm not like casting a buff. You know what I mean? I'm not like
different use of magic.
Something, yes. But that, I'm totally fine to put it in that world of like fantasy. But it's just like, so the reason why I like this game so much is because it's the closest thing. Like 4 weeks ago, I was like, man, I want a fucking sword extraction game. You remember? And I was like, I was on that rant, and I was like,
We've been talking about this forever. I want the fucking Revenant meets Tarkov.
And I was like, I don't want any magic. I don't want any bow and arrows. I don't want any sorcerers casting fireball. I just want sword. Okay, this is the closest thing to it. And this, a great example, it is like the Revenant. So there are guns in this game, but they're all like
musket,
ramrod loaded, muzzle loaded muskets. Like the Louisville is one of the hardest hitting guns in the game in terms of damage. It's got a 13-second reload. So the fights are very much so like you maybe open with some shots, but then you whip out the sword, bro, and it's like, come at me, motherfucker. And so the world is awesome. I mean, I guess we'll talk about combat next since we kind of like naturally got there. But it is, so I have played, so like if you're a melee guy in the comments, please don't come at me with my comparisons because I just haven't played a lot of games where melee combat is the thing. A lot of people are asking me, does it feel like Chivalry? Does it feel like Mordhau? Does it feel like whatever? And I just don't know because I haven't played a lot of those games. But my guess is that it's like Mordhau light with guns. So the reticle, like if you have your sword out, there's a tiny little reticle in the center of your screen, like where you're looking to center. And around that is a small little, just like carrot, like the arrow. And as you move, that carrot changes direction. And that's indicating what direction your strike will come in. So actually like moving and positioning yourself a certain way so you can come down as opposed to coming from the side is all like part of the thing. There's a heavy attack and a light attack. And then if you mouse wheel up, there's a poke attack, which is really important because if you're in like small stone hallways with like a zombie, you'll just clink, clink on the wall if you try to attack.
Yep.
And then if you mouse wheel back, that's another attack. There's a block, but the block, so like heavy attacks consume, so they basically have the Tarkov, there's leg stamina and arm stamina. So any melee attack is consuming energy, which is your arm stamina. Holding up a block also like really quickly drains your arm stamina, so you can't immediately attack. So it's really good in the sense that battles aren't just two people holding block forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How sometimes games like that go. There's very much an advantage on attacking. Like you want to be the one attacking. Now, you can get a perfect block, a perfect parry, where you hit the block button and lean in the direction the attack is coming from. And if you do that, you can get the block off and it doesn't consume any energy. So you can follow it up with an attack with like a full energy bar. So it's got relatively complex melee, sword, spear, mace fighting, and fucking ramrod, breech loading, muskets. Doosh. It's awesome. What do you... Oh, no, sorry, ask a question. I don't want to just talk this all night. Ask the question, please.
Okay, the thing I'll say about Mordhau is the skill. That's a game where it felt like the closest to chess in terms of skill ceiling.
It was like chess, but sword fighting. Yeah,
and that like if I went up against the people who had been playing for like a very long time, there's a 1% chance I can kill them.
Yes.
And 99 times, and it's a game where like between 1 and 3 hits, you die.
Yeah.
So you would think that like if it was a rock, paper, scissors contest,
yeah,
you're going to win 46% of the time or 53% of the, you know what I mean? In this case, I would lose 98% of the time to people who were better than me. And the people that I was better than, who it's so crazy how like I could swing the sword once.
Yeah.
And instantly know like I'll never die to this person.
Yes. It's very much like chess. Like you could play me in chess and you would be like, I'm a god, I'll never lose against this guy. And then you could turn around and after like 3 moves of chess be like, I'm dying. There's no way I'm beating this guy. Yeah. So 2 things. A, it's hard to tell because we only had the test for a couple of days and because I don't have a lot of experience in melee focused games. So there's that. 2, my gut tells me it's somewhere in the middle because there are external forces where like in this game, I could get like a musket headshot on you to open the fight. And then now the odds are different, even if you're better than me, right? Because if I do get 1 hit on you or something, or if I push you into a zombie that's behind you, like I might actually win that fight, even if you are better than me. So there's a little bit of difference there.
Yeah, so I guess maybe like if you zoomed in on just melee combat, how skill factor, and it's probably too soon.
My guess is that the skill factor is high enough for the skill to matter, but I wouldn't say it's as high as Mordhau. It's a much slower game than Mordhau. From what I remember you playing, Like you guys could whip your swords pretty quick. It's and
no, I mean, it was very like, I'm gonna swing a sword like this.
Okay, then it's
swing a sword like this.
probably much more like, for some reason in my head,
like,
I just I'm like have memories of you guys just like going fucking haywire with it, but maybe not. I really wish you could have played like one round, because I would love, like, when the next time there's an open beta, I will do whatever I need to get a code for you, because I just want.
You should tweet at the developers.
Yes, dude, at Good Fun Corp, please. Because I'd be so interested to hear your take on it. Like, even if you were like not interested in playing at all, it's like I want you to get in one fight.
No, I would like to,
and I want to hear what you have to say, because everything is very slow, but that's a hard word to use, and I'm gonna get fried in the comments, and that's totally fine, because it really is different strokes for different folks. I hated Dark and Darker. I liked playing that with the homies just to goof off and stuff like that, but there was no sprint in that game. You moved slow. Everything was slow, and I hated it. In Hunger, I would also use the word slow. Like, the movement speed is slow. There is a sprint, though. It takes a really long time to reload a gun. The strikes are really slow, but I loved it. Like, so if you are against slow games, I would say both of these games are slow. One of them I immediately wanted to stop playing, and one of them I immediately wanted to keep playing. So it's hard to kind of like quantify how slow the combat is.
I mean, slow in a video game is like sweet or salty in a recipe.
Yes.
Like, do you like salty? Yeah, on chips and
not on
French fries.
Yeah.
I don't want my ice cream to be salty.
Yeah.
I'm not one that likes salted caramel or whatever, but like some people like that. So it's an element that is either
100%.
used too much or doesn't fit or is annoying or whatever.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. Like, there's a part of me that almost feels like when you say, like, remember how Tarkov made you feel? Everything I feel now about Tarkov is it's the way that I think about 8th grade, the way 8th grade felt.
Yeah.
The way I think about the way 8th grade felt is nothing like 8th grade felt.
True.
The nostalgia is so different, right?
That's very true.
Because so like there's a depressing part of me that almost is like games like Tarkov and the ones that came before it that like were that kind of experience. There's a part of me that just feels like, oh yeah, that's just never going to happen again.
Yeah.
For me. And I don't know if that's because of me, if that's because of gaming, what the reasoning is.
I'm so fucking pissed I didn't get you to play one raid, because not because you can't play the raid in the middle, but because I want to talk about this, and the more I talk about it, the more I know it taints your first. Like, I wish I could just like go back in time, give you a code, force you to, because I want you to do a solo raid, because I agree with you, by the way. I 100% agree with you. Like, the nostalgia is hard with something like Tarkov, but what I can also say is it was the purest gaming experience. I game so little off stream. And when I do, I'm gaming games I like. I'll like hop in Star Citizen with the boys. I'll, hop on a scav raid with Valiant or whatever. This was the first time since I started streaming, I launched a new game that I wasn't like getting paid to play or test off stream solo. And I was shitting my pants my entire first raid. The combination of how good the atmosphere is, how much they lean into this being like the most like horror adjacent extraction game, and how tense the combat feels in PvP. It was the most emotional, like it was the highest my heart rate had been in 10 years gaming off stream. Like, I was just alone in a dark room playing this game, and I was scared out of my dude. They just nailed the vibe. They nailed the vibe, and they nailed the tension. And combat is slow, and fast. The TTK is pretty short in terms of like if you miss a block on a heavy attack from a longsword, if you're not dead, you are close.
Yeah.
But combat can be slow because, and this was when I said, yeah, I actually think the TT feels okay. But when I said remember in the years I've been talking about this like perfect JesseKazam melee focused game, extraction game, was because, and I didn't necessarily explicitly say this, but it's because of all of the part of combat that isn't combat. In Tarkov, it's I've got a voodoo, target acquired, click. Whole thing is over. In this game, it's I shot my musket at you, you missed. You shot your musket at me and missed. There's 45 seconds of space where either we're trying to close the distance with our swords or we're fucking reloading our muskets as fast as we can, right? So there's space. The time to kill can be short, but combat can feel slow because when you see somebody, it's like you guys have to agree to fight and close the distance. And that's something Tarkov has missed because everything is a scope, everything is a gun, everything is a one-top from 100 meters away. But if like you both whiff your musket shots, it's like there's so much room for the emotion of like, I'm chasing you down, motherfucker. Like, and you know, he's running away and you've got your sword. Like, it's sick. So and I say all that to say I'm pretty ass at the combat in this game. Like, it's so out of my wheelhouse in terms of like when to block, when to parry, when to strike, when to commit to the stamina of a heavy strike, when to do a poke. There's also feigning. So if you initiate a light attack of any direction, if you hit R really quick, you can cancel it. So then they hit the block.
You go to do this, and then the person goes to block, which means they're now locked in. Yeah, so that's It's pretty complex and it's pretty deep. And then you add the guns on top of it. It's sick, bro. That just reminds me of Mord, how like playing against an experienced person, I would like heavy attack, cancel, and they would just. It's like the ultimate, like go to punch someone and they don't flinch. You're like, oh fuck, right? Whereas like they'll go like this, you go oh, and they'll just keep doing this, and you're just, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's because they can wait until the point where it's like, pling, right? Like because they have the 3 frame reaction time. Yeah. So some bullying.
So the combat was cool. And it was fun to learn, and it was fun for me to like get back into that almost beyond the grave thing where I'm like watching clips back and being like, oh, he lunged at me there. I didn't realize. Oh, I had enough stamina to block that, but I didn't. Like, yeah, 100%. Because it's a completely new combat style, I was eating that up, being like, okay, how do I get better at this? How do I get better at this? Now, that being said, I do want to talk about my concerns, and there is another side of that where I am already concerned that mid to late game, guns will dominate. Because when you think about like a loot focused game, there's got to be like, you know, one of the gray tier heavy weapons is just a two-handed club. It's just a piece of plywood, right?
Mm.
The power scaling for like a sword is just like, it looks fancier and maybe it does more damage, but like it's still just a sword. With guns, the power scaling is much easier to do because it's like, oh, this gun has a 3-round magazine. Oh, this gun reloads much faster. Those things are really intuitive to be like the much rarer gun has a high capacity magazine and reloads faster. But then you get into the territory where it's like, will the mid to end game of this game be everyone running around with the 12-round magazine gun? And then does that just eliminate no, there's no like voodoos, right? It's all fucking iron post, iron sights. But there were a couple of fights we got into where like we were a 3-man team and all 3 of the other team was running the rarer gun called the Vepr, which has a 12-round magazine.
Oh, a 7.62 by 39.
Yeah, I know. Rilo kept saying Vepr and I was like, whoa, wait, not the Vepr, not the Vepr.
He's got a fucking mini UC.
Yeah. And we couldn't really do anything. We couldn't close the distance because they had so many rounds that if we pulled our swords out to push them, they would just kill us on the way. But we couldn't win the gun battle because every time we shot, we had a 12-second reload. And it was like, oh, what am I supposed to do here? Like run, I guess?
How'd you reload?
The 12-second reload.
Well, there's your fucking...
clip of the day.
There's your animated clip of the day. 7 TV emote.
Yeah.
Of the week. You're welcome.
So there's that, and then even on the melee combat side of things, there is what's it called? Skill trees. Where like instead of Tarkov,
Okay.
where it's just like you're always getting strength. Like, you know how people have said in the past, like they have posited it'd be cool for Tarkov, every time you level up you get a point, and then you can put that point in any skill you want. That's like the system. Like a very traditional RPG, there's like 4 different skill trees and there's all sorts of skills, and every time you level up you get a point and whatever. And even just in the playtest, there were some where it's like you can get to a person who is, because they've allocated their points a certain way, like they have a pretty serious power advantage, even if you both have like the same sword, because they have more stamina, or they can like lunge farther, or they can So, however, I'm gonna qualify all that with the devs have the devs have said this was not a balanced build. This was more for like server stress testing and just kind of like showing the game. And it's a pre-alpha build. And I would imagine this is far and away the most people they've had playing the game at one time.
It's a beta.
And they were testing that progression. So I'm pretty sure they had the loot turned up way high in terms of like, you could find rare keys, you could find rare weapons, you could find rare stuff, because they were like, you know, showing a little bit of everything. So my, quote unquote concerns about that are pretty, like, I'm not too worried about them, because I imagine that like
everything's going to change.
This type of data is extremely helpful in how to balance the game, right? So, I definitely had a couple moments where I had those thoughts where I was like, damn, I'm a little concerned that maybe the end game is just everyone going to be having magazine belt-fed guns, and that's going to kind of ruin the experience. But I'm not going to write the game off. I'm going to let them cook. So that's the combat. Very intriguing to me, very slow, very melee focused, very neuron activation for your boy JesseKazam. But the general like gameplay mechanics of the game, so we can talk about how like it feels much more like an MMO. So so it's like, first of all, your character, the like hideout, quote unquote, is an actual social space. So there's like 30 or 40 other players actually running around.
Oh God! So everybody's just spamming like.
Well, there's no VoIP.
Looking for Barb Annie 3-3.
Oh yeah.
Short charm.
There's no chat yet, but I imagine there will be.
Everybody running around with text block above their head.
But so it's a social space. All the traders are physicalized, just like in an MMO. You go to the town, you have to like run to the armor smith, you have to run to this guy, you have to run to that. So it's like it's all that thing. The way the chateau works is as you level up, you gain access to different parts of it. So you like start outside and you like work your way up and become like a higher quality citizen of the chateau. So there's tons of traders. There's tons of quests. The quests have tons of lore. There's so there's these things called missives, which are like little envelopes, and you read them and they give you XP. They're like incredibly useful. I literally spent an entire day looking for a hemp plant so I could get burlap before Redstone realized he was like one of the missives you picked up literally is called like where to find hemp, and it like talks all about like, oh, there's reports of seeing burlap play whatever in this thing. So it's like the lore and stuff like that actually.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah, is actually the flavor text, the lore, the quest. A lot of there was one quest I was doing where I was looking for like opium, and I was looking for like a China bowl or whatever. It's just like
opium and hemp.
Yeah.
Is this at what point do you unlock a hacky sack?
Hey, dude, that you don't get a hacky sack. One of the traders is called Mr.
The quest
Sweet.
is attend the fish concert.
Oh my, yeah. One of the traders is called Mr. Sweet, and he's this like short, stocky dude, and he's got this big old pipe, and the pipe is just a giant dick. And like there's like a naked girl on it riding it. It's the craziest thing.
And he puts the tip in his mouth and smokes it?
I mean, he ostensibly he would, but he never actually smokes it. But yeah.
I mean,
Veritas
whatever wets your whistle.
I'm in. So there's quests, there's professions that you choose. So you can choose.
Okay, I get to get a job.
Yep,
Good.
you get to get a job. I was a scavenger and an outfitter, which means so there's crafting professions and gathering professions. When you select a gathering profession, what that means is that out in the world, in the maps, there are containers you can loot for selecting that profession. And only people with that profession can either loot that container or harvest that resource. So you have to have the profession scavenger in order to mine ores or collect certain plants. And
There's
then
no minor profession.
no, there's no miner. And then what crafting profession you choose dictates what type of materials or what type of like items you can craft, whether that's swords or backpacks or whatever. So there's a lot of that type of stuff out in the world as well. And so there's just, it's a game where like PvP is much less the explicit focus of what you're doing. In any game where there is PvP, there will be people that only want to engage in the PvP in that game. I'm not saying that this is a game. I'm not saying like you can go into a raid and expect people to not want to PvP. We ran into like no friendly people. It was PvP all the time. But there are so many more reasons to go into a raid than to PvP. You know what I mean? Like you could be going in there to quest. You could be going in there like there were raids where I was just going into farm hemp because I wanted to level up my crafting profession because in order to craft the backpack I wanted to craft, I needed to be level 301 in this crafting profession. Like there were times I walk up to like an ore deposit and I went up and it was like, you need to be level 279 scavenger to gather this. And only the people that are scavengers can gather that thing. You see what I'm saying with like MMO? Like it's endless like grind and content and stuff to do. So there were times where we didn't run into anybody for a couple of raids, but that was because we were like super laser focused on like avoiding combat and doing this thing. But there were also times where we got like third partied and fourth partied, you know, very extraction shooter-esque, you know what I'm saying? There's like your classic pocket watch areas where like everybody was doing this quest. So this thing became this like insane hotspot. You know what I mean? So it's got like in its current phase in the alpha, there was like 1,000 hours of content to do in a very MMO way. So there's 6 characters in the game. It feels almost like a hero shooter at the start because each character has a passive trait, a tactical ability, and an ultimate ability that's tied to that character.
Oh, shit.
Right?
Ult.
But if you get any character to level 100, you are given the option to prestige that character. If you prestige that character, you can select the tactical ability or the ultimate ability to be unlocked for all your other characters to use. So you could like really like this person's tactical ability, so you prestige that character, and you really like this person's ultimate ability, so you prestige that character, and you really like this person's passive trait, so you take the ultimate ability from this character, the tactical ability from that character, and you add it to the passive. So it's like it starts off almost like a hero shooter where you're picking a character exclusively just based on the, you know, abilities, but you'll ultimately be able to like build any character can do anything. And you can kind of build these like really unique things, which incentivizes just like an insane amount of like you grind up and then you reset yourself. You know, there's like prestiging. So you're like funneling people back down to the like the lower rungs of the economy and stuff like that.
Yeah, it sounds fucking pretty rad.
Yeah, very, very MMO-esque. And then the last thing we can talk about is, in addition to all that, the map design is really good. There's some like physics stuff where you're getting stuck on shit all the time, and I'm like, that shit makes me want to flip my desk. But the map design is really good.
Yeah.
Every single map, I think they're 1 kilometer squared. I think that's what somebody said, and that feels right. So there's 3 maps. Underneath every map is a dungeon. And it's like, so think of think of like labs under customs. Like think of a map the size of customs, and every map the size of customs has labs underneath it. And you need to find keys to unlock. It's a 3-use key, and you can go in. Once you unlock that door, somebody can come in behind you. But you wouldn't necessarily go there unless you like thought you had a key or you suspected somebody was down there. And most of the dungeons have 3 entrances and 3 exits. So it's not like you're sounding an alarm, you're letting everybody know you're going into the dungeon. But when you use the dungeon, that doesn't inherently mean you're safe. As you move down the dungeon, there's like tons of good loot. There's like mini boss variants of a bunch of the AI. There's tons of locked rooms. There's all this kind of stuff. You get all the way down there, and there's like a juiced loot chest at the bottom, and you have to find the key in the dungeon to the chest. And then, assuming you did all that and you got all that, you have to go back up the dungeon to the overworld again and extract up there. It's a very time pressure thing. Like you will almost never have enough time to do anything you do under there before the raid timer just reaches 0. So it's like when you decide to, like you could play a hunger match where I'm like, these raids feel like forever. They're like 50 minutes long. I'm like, I have time to do anything I want. But if you go dungeon, you are racing against the clock to do everything you want to do. And at any point, you could PvP in the dungeon. And then each dungeon has a boss room door where when the game actually launches, you'll be able to find a key to the boss room door, take that back to the chateau, and you and your squad can queue up a PvE instanced raid boss where you go to that boss and you fight that boss. So that's a non-PvP activity. But you have to go through the PvP. You have to find the dungeon key. You have to run the dungeon. You have to go through it. You actually have to find the boss key, which you might not find. You have to extract the boss key, which you might do on the way out. And that gives you the chance to run the boss one time. And so it's just got like a lot of cool RPG vibey shit that was super fun to play. So
how many times did you run the boss?
So the bosses weren't in this build. The dungeons were, and we could get to the boss doors, but the keys weren't in, so you can't find them and you can't queue the thing.
You didn't have lock picking skill 4,000.
Correct. Now we ran the dungeons a lot, and they were sick. The vibes were insane. It looks really good. We got like PvP ganked under there a couple of times. They're like the AI. Crazy.
AI, the way that I always wanted it to be in Tarkov, which is it's a way to like make it so that it's not just trivial navigating around the world when there's not players around. It's a catalyst for, like PvP, but they're not like triggering annoying, terrible, right? Like
it's a combination. So like I would say the AI in this game were almost exactly what we've always wanted, in that they were like all Dark Souls mini bosses. Like they telegraph their attacks. You can learn how to fight them. Fighting some of the more harder ones can.
For the record, I never wanted a scab to be like a
no. But I meant.
Did you ever play Dark Souls?
No, I've watched a lot of Dark Souls. I'm saying we've used that as the example of AI that can be difficult without requiring RNG.
Yeah, that's like learnable,
masterable things.
Yeah.
So like some of the hardest AI in the game, can become trivial when you know how their attacks work, and when you know like if you hit them in the head, it staggers them, and you can kind of cheese that. But if you mess up, one hit from that brute, and you're like all your armor's gone and your health is down to 10, and you're one shot. And so when you add the PvP element in there, the AI become this like, okay, you can fight a drooler, but can you execute all headshots on a drooler such that it doesn't hit you when you know there's a player nearby shooting at you? Like it's like asking if you can learn it, and then can you execute on it under pressure? So there were definitely times where it's like we were in a PvP fight, and like Velian is like running to make a flank, very Tarkov brained, where like I'm fine on my own. But then if you run into a brute, it's like I'm not fine on my own, and now we're split, and now we're all fucked, and you're like, oh damn, this stupid fucking AI, this is so dumb. But it's not dumb. It's like you have to play with intention. And so I would say that I felt the AI was overall pretty great. It was learnable. It was very punishing to mess up on, but it was populated. Like it felt like there was a lot of stuff. Yeah, it felt good to me. I really liked it so far. The AI in the game. Oh, and then the healing, they did an interesting thing with how you heal. So there's your classic, like, for shields, or sorry, for armor, to restore your armor plates. There's like varying levels of rarity, just like big armor things you clamp onto your body and you like clamp it on your armor. And the higher rarity ones give you more armor. And same thing with health, where it's like, it's this thing you sniff, actually. You go, and then that gives you a little bit of health, and the higher quality ones give you a lot more health.
Like smelling salts?
Kind of, yeah.
Fucking Joe Rogan here.
But if you don't have those heals, the heals are expensive and they're rare. There's blood bags and there's armor tongs. So a blood bag is not a consumable. If you find one in the world, it will heal you infinitely, but it heals you slowly. Like if you're 10 HP and all you have is a gray blood bag, it might be 200 seconds before you're back to full HP. But it's an offering where it's like, if you like, we don't want everything to be easy, and we're not going to take the option away from you. You're not just going to run around and not be able to fucking heal, but it's going to be a commitment. Like everything. You
don't want the Veritas on first raid where limping around woods for 45 minutes.
Exactly.
With just a red screen going.
Yes. And then there's the same thing. There's armor tongs, and they're tongs where you're like pulling like bullets out of your armor, and it just takes forever. But if you don't have any of the good heals, at least you have that, right? And so they're doing some interesting stuff with that, and that it adds to the intent. Like I hate to use the buzzwords of like, I don't want to sound like I'm an E3 showcase for The Witcher 5, where it's like living, breathing world. Every decision you make matters through the annals of history, right? I hate that shit. But this game feels like every decision you make is very impactful. Unlike, okay, I'm just going to go in here and check one thing. Fuck, I got hit by the drooler. I now have 10 HP, and now I'm just hiding in a bush, committing to just healing for the next 3 minutes before I decide to either go back in and try again, or just like fuck off and go to find the extract. A lot of those decisions make the melee combat more impactful too, because if you get hit, you can't just like back off and heal real quick, spam H, and your health goes back up. Like you have to really commit to healing. So you might take the fight with a little bit less HP, or you might bail on the fight, or you might try to like back up and reload your weapon. Everything kind of works synergistically to like slow you down, and kind of like what it does is it forces you to make a decision, which for me almost always is a panic decision, which leads to me dying. But the game doesn't let you just like pussyfoot around. It's like you're going to decide to do something. Tarkov is
like that in a way too. We just played so much that everything is just instantly.
For sure.
Yeah. So like the random shit mob that's just like a normal scav chilling in like dorms or whatever, that equivalent.
Yeah.
Can you just walk up and go headshot and they're dead?
Yes.
Or is it like a fucking 10-minute ordeal with every one of these little bastards?
Headshot and they're dead. You wouldn't do that because guns are, dude, the gunshot audio is really good from like 200 yards away. You just hear this musket firing in the distance. But so like So the way your inventory works is you have a 2-handed weapon slot and a 1-handed weapon slot. You can bring 2 guns or 2 melee weapons, or a 2-handed melee weapon and a 1-handed gun, a 2-handed gun and a 1-handed melee weapon. You can do whatever you want. So a 2-handed melee weapon, even the gray tier ones, a heavy attack will just bonk 1 click to the scav, right? Mm-hmm. It might take 3 or 4 hits of a light attack, but if you can just bonk. And then it's also very Mordhowie in like dragging your mouse. So if I have a long sword and I do a heavy attack like this, if I drag it across, I can go shink, 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 and just like cut 3 heads off of the 3 AI at the same time.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. And then you can do that in PvP too.
I guarantee this isn't the case, but I just so badly want a game where like the physics of the sword, I want to like, if I slice like this, given the right circumstances, I want you to be bifurcated
At
diagonally.
that degree, yeah, no, it's not that.
I want it not to be like clunk, your arm falls off.
Yes.
I want it to go shink,
Yeah,
like
it's not like that. That would be sick though. But yeah, so it's like most of the low tier AI can be handled quickly. If they gang up on you, you can do some damage. If you run, the thing for me was, once again, the AI, the regular scav AI can fuck you up if you run out of stamina. So it's like, I run up to it and I do my heavy attack and I kill one and I turn to the other one to do my heavy attack, but I don't have any stamina. So now the attack I'm doing is much slower because I'm out of energy and it hits for so much less. And then they're just like clawing at you, fucking you up. And I'm like, God damn it. So, but that was on me for like the stamina management. But yeah, so those, and then there's like bloaters and droolers and brutes, and it like goes up to all this stuff, but you can learn to like deal with them all pretty handily and pretty quietly if you have the right weapons. But yeah, so yeah, your inventory is two-handed, one-handed. They did a great job with the backpacks in terms of like, there's 3 different like carrying things you can get: a back bag, a hip bag, and a gun and a weapon sling. So
no fanny pack.
No fanny pack. So back bags and hip bags just increase how much space you can carry. And then a weapon sling lets you, like, if I kill you in PvP, I can take some of your weapons. They don't go in my inventory. They go on the sling. You have food is all, it's not survival. It's not like you are hungry. Food is all MMO. It's all buffs. So like eating apple pie is, so when you search containers, loot is revealed 40% faster for 20 minutes, right? There's
that's so much better than I'm hungry.
Yeah, there's
everything
stamina regeneration faster. There's all this kind of stuff. Yeah, so it's got the very Hunt Showdown vibes where like the audio cues are insanely like pronounced, and so like when you walk on broken glass, it's so loud and it like gives
very
your
contextual,
and it gives your position away, and like, dude, and they have these things where the world jumps out at you. So like there's all these like static, right? It's just this like war-torn area, and you'll be walking by and there's a guy literally strung up, hung by his neck, hands tied behind his back, and you're walking by, and as you walk by, music goes whoosh, and the dude starts screaming. He's alive. He's like, ah, ah, ah. And now like all the players in the area know where you are, and it like scares the shit out of you. And you but if you know he's there, you can creep up behind him and hit him with your sword and kill him before he even does the thing.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah, and so there's stuff like that. There's all sorts of like terrifying stuff like that. So yeah, man, that like hunger really surprised me. It is the closest I've seen to that game that I have been describing for years. It's got really good atmosphere and immersion. The devs seem to have like a really good head. I went and then did a bunch of research on the video. Rilo has made a couple of really good videos. He's apparently been working with the devs, not working with them, but like interviewing them and talking and covering the game behind the scenes for a really long time. So he made a couple of videos about a bunch of the stuff they have coming, human factions, in-raid traders, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot. There's a lot to like. So I think they said next they're going to be doing an open beta. I don't know when that is. Planned release into early access for this game is 2026. And dude, hunger really surprised. I like every day since then, I've just been like sad to fire up the stream and play Tarkov. Like, and once again, in a way that only like MMOs make me feel. Like when New World came out, it was all I could think about, because it was like, I want to get like
you plan.
Yes, I want to get like log cutting level 100 today. I want to get mining level this. I need to farm up some burlap. I need to go get these things. Oh, but I also have to do those quests. Like, it's that overwhelming in a good way. A lot of times,
yeah, Battlefield doesn't give you that. Call of Duty doesn't give you that. What gives you that is like Skyrim, Factorio.
Yeah.
Even Tarkov.
Early Tarkov. Like when you're a new player and you have 14 tasks from each of the traders, and you're trying to level this skill up so you can get that hideout thing done. Like the Tarkov definitely gives you a little bit of that. And this game gives me that, where I was like, I want to play for 12 hours. I have a plan for what I want to do. And then the game just takes you on the journey. You get into that sick PvP fight, or you find that crazy item. Like, it just, it was a good game. It was a very good game. So,
hell yeah, dog.
Much excite,
bro. So I don't know how caught up you are on the Gutsick, Gibbon, Will Duffy.
Dude, I'm a couple behind.
Okay, so what I will say, so for those who don't know, the super fast thing, Will Duffy, Pastor was the guy who did the final experiment, which was taking all the flat earthers down to Antarctica to prove the earth was flat. One of the flat earthers,
Converted.
Basically converted. He saw the light ish, and a long story, but ish. But he is a young earth creationist. And I've talked to Will before. He actually invited me to go down with him to Antarctica too. Like, he's a super nice guy, genuinely intellectually honest, genuinely curious guy. And so him being a young earth creationist, while being able to look at the flat earthers and go, this is obviously absurd. How can you guys not see the light? While then thinking that the earth is 10,000 years old and that evolution isn't true.
Yeah.
In true, I would say true, open-minded, intellectually honest fashion, he was like, I realized that I rejected evolution and the standard sort of billions of years, scientific understanding of the universe. I rejected these things without really understanding them.
Yeah.
So to not be hypocritical like the people of the flat earth, I want to come and understand so that I can know, either change my mind or know, at least understand what I'm rejecting. So Gutsick Gibbon is, I don't remember exactly all of her titles, but she's a science communicator and an educator, and basically agreed to do once a month. They have a 5 or 6 hour live stream, and she just goes through and lectures him on everything having to do with the age of the earth and evolution of
At one point,
species.
she was a professor, and she's basically abridging her entire course on Evolution 101 and the age of the Earth, into these once a month 5 or 6 hour sessions, really dense sessions. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that my excitement has done this.
Yeah.
And my frustration has done this the whole time, because there are 7 months in now that they've been going, and I had pages and pages and pages of notes and comments and questions, because I could reach out to them and we could chat. I literally went and saved myself. I deleted it. I'm just
nice.
And I hold on to everything I fucking write, because it's hoarding footage. It's kind of thing where it's I might need it later, and I just had to get rid of it for my own sanity, because I was dwelling on.
Yeah.
But I will say the last few episodes have been kind of depressing. He started off, she went through and talked all about nested hierarchies, which is basically the structure of how we have eukaryotes, animals, all of the tree, based on physical characteristics, based on bones, muscles, morphology, all kinds of stuff from fossils, basically just looking at animals, looking at the traits that they have, and classifying the entire animal kingdom into a family tree, and how we got really, really, really close to getting the right answer with just that.
Yeah.
The problem is that it's a little bit misleading, right? Because sometimes two different, the same thing can convergent evolution. Two things can develop independently along different branches.
Yeah.
Eyes develop at least 3 times.
Yeah.
And so, but then you might think oh, well, these 2 different species that have the same traits must be related on the tree, but you realize like if they developed it independently, then they would be
Yeah.
not necessarily, you know, when you go all the way down the tree towards the trunk,
Yeah.
like everything's fucking related. But then once we understood genetics, all we needed to do was like move a couple of things around the tree that was all based on the way that things looked,
Yep.
basically the way that their bodies were laid out and everything. And we were like basically
Like, damn.
almost spot on. And then everything we know about genetics, which is just like the nail in the coffin, like that really just explains everything. And that also, what's so incredible is like when you look at fossil record, you look at paleontology, you look at things that are buried, whether it's like people, bones, tools, fossilized things, stone, rock, fucking tectonic plates, just everything. When you understand how they all work, and then you say, okay, well, let's assume the evolution, you know, is real. Everything just matches that the Earth is billions of years old, that life is billions of years old, and he like opened up today with like, usually what happens is they start off with like an intro, and then he kind of goes into like his overview of like response to her last session for a little bit, and then she says, okay, sometimes they go back and forth a little bit, and then she has her lecture, and like today it was just like, oh, it's just so it's so frustrating how so many of the things are like, bro, you're doing the thing that flat earthers do. Like you're saying, you know, like he was talking about how he's like, I always get told, people always tell me, he referenced PhD Tony, which is like a big name in like the flat earth debunking community. He has his own like channel. He's like, PhD Tony told me the other day that like I'm not allowed to reject like a scientific paper. And I just don't think that's scientific, man. It's like, there's no way anyone says that.
Yeah.
That's some like propagandized bullshit. What he might have said is like, you can't just say nuh-uh when you read a paper that you don't like.
Yeah.
Without citing other papers, without doing your own research, without like, you can't just say
providing an alternative explanation.
Without some alternative or without a criticism or analyze the data, like something. But he's just stuck on these things that to him are just like obvious gotchas.
Yeah.
And then she answers with like, you know, he'll say, you know, and then I read this study, and then this study says, oh, well, that thing about like the appendix or that thing about the table, and it's like we were all wrong, and it's all kind of just BS, and but it's been all the books for 20, 30 years. And then she's like, well, no, these are 15 papers that all say the thing is true, and the paper you cited also doesn't say it's not true. It says there's like nuance, but like flat earthers, you're citing a thing that doesn't say what you think it says, and he's done that like 5 times. And like today she finally fucking called him out and was like, Will, as your friend, with respect, what you're doing is not scientific. She's like, you're not. And she hasn't called him out. Yeah. And a lot of times she's like, I'll save my responses until like, and it's like, we have to wait a month to hear her be like, everything you said is wrong. Yeah. And like really simply, basically wrong. He's just like so close, but so far away. Yeah. And I have like so much respect for Will, at the same time being like, you're smarter than this, bro. Yeah. But it's such a good series. I would recommend it. Gutsick Gibbon is the channel. You'll have to go to her live, not the videos, but the live streams if you want to watch them. There's been like 30 or 40 hours of content on this.
It's so
if
good.
You've ever wondered how we know the age of the earth and how we know evolution is real, honestly, Genuinely, you're not going to get like a better.
You are not going to get a better
rundown than what she's going through.
And I have so much respect for her for like
she's such a good communicator.
Up with
she's so smart.
I'm glad she did call him out though, because I mean, I get it in the sense that it's like it's always easier to point to a belief you don't hold and poke holes in it. You know what I mean? He's like, flat earth is obviously like, it's always much harder to do that internally. or sorry, introspectively, but that was like the premise of the thing. Right. It wasn't like she called him up and was like, hey, I think you're wrong about all this. And then he's like, wasn't in the right headspace to interrogate his own beliefs. Like, that is the thing. They agreed to this thing. Like, he was like,
I want to challenge my beliefs.
He's like, I rejected this without knowing it. And if knowing it changes my mind, then that's great. And then it's like, and then to be like, yeah, I know that you just cited this really long history of research and how all these people agreed and came to these conclusions independently and then tested each other. But like, Joe Rogan showed this article that said that's not true. And, you know, she's like, well, what are the sources in the article? And there are none. And it's like, yeah, how do you, it's so hard to not be like, how do you not see that? How do you not see that?
When you're the guy that pointed it out, you know, it's like, it makes me think there has to be something, like there's got to be something in my life, dude, that I'm like, I'm blind to, I've been wrong about all along.
Certainly.
But of course there isn't.
Of course I am right.
I am the final form.
About everything. Yes, I am peak intellectual. Yeah, that's cool though. I do need to catch up on those. Those are great. Great for me too, because like it's the first time I'm hearing any of that information in terms of the evolution stuff. And I'm loving it and like eating all of it up. And you're like, I mean, we talked about this on the PP a little bit, but you're like, damn, these were just like real motherfuckers, like figuring this out. You know what I mean? Like it's so easy to think that we printed the PDF, you know, out of the earth. That is the textbook that teaches us this stuff. And you're just reminded, it's like, no. This is just people looking out going, why does that thing happen? And then figuring it out. And that's like so sick.
Yeah, dude. The fact that like folks like Darwin and all these guys, like Darwin in one of his like letters just straight up was like, yeah, we're going to figure out like that we're related to fish. Yeah. Like he like just like called it. Like there's so many called shots.
Yep.
It's just, and it's like not that long ago, which is so crazy how like, it sucks that like the fucking frontiers of knowledge now, you need a particle collider, a submarine that won't implode, and a spaceship. And that's what it feels like, or ChatGPT, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
crazy.
That's crazy,
bro. That's crazy. But yeah, that's kind of it. Any gaming stuff you're excited about? Like, what's the update on like when's that fucking Super Unicorn Island game coming out? Hello Kitty.
I've heard no updates on anything other than the Star Wars DLC for Power Wash Sim 2 comes out in a week.
1,300 hours ain't enough. We gotta bump that shit up, bro.
Dude, I've washed the same gazebo 5,400 times. I got it into the new PoE 2 league.
Oh yeah.
A little bit here and there. Although I haven't. Apparently, like the end game is totally. I don't know if it's totally different, but it's like really, really good. And so like I can only handle like an hour of playing through the fucking campaign for the 75th time to get to the end game.
Fair.
But yeah, so I've just been doing that, and otherwise there's no real game news. People come in and they give me like really good game recommendations that I put like in my wish lists. Yeah, there's a few games. Mole. I'm just gonna read. I might as well just read off a couple of them real quick. Mole, Code, Terraform, Dimhaven. Dimhaven was a game that was made by the same people who made Quern, which was basically like Myst, like a modern Myst.
Oh, okay.
And it was very good.
Interesting.
So I'm excited. That's a game that like I can't have a video playing though. If I'm gonna like figure out.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that. Like I know that there's kind of like two modes. Like sometimes you want a game and you're like looking for a fun game to play, and then sometimes you're looking to work on the video and have something to do. So yeah.
So,
but no, that's cool. That's dope. I just didn't know. Like, I mean, I know we haven't heard anything on Light No Fire. I just didn't know if there were any like anything else that popped up on the radar.
I'm just kind of hoping, honestly, that like not a whole lot comes up in the next 2 months because I don't want to really think
Finish
about anything.
that, get the move, and then like maybe rip the subathon or something. Yeah. Um. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like the only like Tarkov news, they added the expansion hub. Okay, which
I
is
have to buy a cartridge to put in the back slot of my EOD.
yes, dude, you got the Game Shark for your EOD.
Remember that like N64 fucking expansion pack?
Yes, dude, I remember all that shit, bro. Oh my god, crazy stuff. PS2 memory cards, N64 expansion packs, Game Sharks, like
The Dreamcast's memory cards were literally like Tamagotchis. They had a screen and shit.
yes. Oh my.
They were straight up
Dude.
Tamagotchis.
Remember getting a memory card and being like, bro, this one has 128 megabytes, and your friends are being like, oh my god, you can save so many games on that, bro. Anyways, the Tarkov expansion hub is the fully integrated cash shop, like store in the game. So they added a premium,
like IRL.
They added a premium currency called Tarcoins, and you can buy the Tarcoins, and then from within the game, you can buy those Tarcoins and then spend the Tarcoins buying cosmetics, buying extra stash lines, buying like voice packs. Yeah. It's like,
dude, it's like I feel like I should. I have no energy to care, but I still.
Nor do I.
I'm like, my brain is saying, ew, fucking lame, fucking gross, fucking disgusting, and yet I feel nothing.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. Like it's one of those things where I mentioned this in a video about something else where it's like, I am not anti paid cosmetics. But when you like when you back yourself into a corner by saying like we're never gonna do cosmetics, that's where the bad taste comes from, right? So like somebody came in yesterday I was playing and we were looking at the expansion up because it just came out yesterday, and somebody was like, "Didn't Nikita swear up and down they were never gonna do cosmetics or microtransactions?" He said they're never gonna do microtransactions, and I was like, "Yeah." And it's like that's the thing. It's like yes, that's true. I don't care that I can buy skins in this game. I have bought some of the skins. I bought some of the stash lines. Like I am okay with that. It's just that. It's just like exactly. It's like I have no energy to like make a video about in defense of or in attacking the expansion hub, but it does feel like the final boss of like the opposite of what he said. You know, he said there was never going to be microtransactions, there's never going to be cosmetics or whatever, and it's like now we have the in-game store, we have the premium currency, like it's only a matter of time until we get the battle pass, and I'll probably fucking buy the battle pass. Once again, it's just
bro, it's Tarkov used
thing.
to be a fucking. It used to be like your homeboy's pizza shop that like 17 people knew about, and it made the best pizza in town and everything. Like it was so great. They brewed their own root beer in the back, like all this stuff. Like, but there was homeless people around, and it was kind of smelly, and like you could smoke in there and whatever. But like it was such a vibe. And now it's Domino's Pizza. And so it's like
no, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. It was that, and then it was like Dave Portnoy came and gave it like a 9.6, and then it blew up, and they couldn't ever sell enough slice, and it blew up, and then now nobody cares anymore. But they're still like trying to be the chain. They're like, no, look, we're doing the 2 for $20 just like Domino's does, but nobody cares anymore because the hype died down. Like that's almost what it feels like. It like
had you still can't get a slice unless you use their app.
Exactly. It's like it's instead of it's not Domino's. It feels like it's like a local shop that had its moment in the sun that's still trying to ride that hype, but that hype is over. Like that was 2022, bro. That was. Anyways. So this expansion, once again, I don't fucking care. Like, I don't care if you buy Tarcoins or... What's cool is you can actually find the Tarcoins in-game. You can find them in cash registers. You can find them on bosses. Like, and if you save up enough... Now, it's like, they added them in the game a couple weeks ago, and you've been able to farm them, and we didn't know... And, like, I have 18, right? And then, like, a cosmetic is 2,200. So I don't know how realistically...
You're going to say 22.
No, 2,200. So it's like, I don't know how realistically you could like farm the Tarcoin.
Oh, great. They're on that Wizards of the Coast. Like you can build the deck you want for free. You just need 850 wins straight in the fucking arena.
Yeah.
The ranked arena or whatever.
But yeah, so there's that. And then they they released the list of modifiers coming to the season 1.
The season?
Yeah. So we won't go through them all, but like the 6 global modifiers are no insurance. I'm gonna pull up.
Dude, I was just the first thing that came to mind, like the tired, immature thing. I was like, yeah, like 12-inch dick, and then I realized there is one that's actually big dick. You like run slower or whatever. Like fuck, I can't even joke anymore. It's its own meme.
Yeah.
Tarkov has become Elon Musk with the chainsaw.
Dude, yeah. Yeah. There's
that's the ultimate. We need Nikita with a chainsaw. Wait, didn't he have a chainsaw in like one of the streams, or was that?
No.
I'm just
get ChatGPT on
that's
it.
my fan fiction.
Yeah. That was the fan fiction I sent you. So the 6 global modifiers are no insurance, armor shortage, which is defined as traders across Tarkov are experiencing an armor shortage. Black division operators can be encountered on specific locations. Handyman, which is item crafting time is reduced by 50%. And
these all sound like porno titles, by the way, but keep going.
And the crafting skill starts at level 50. Yeah, dude, Black Division Handyman.
Hey, Michael Proctor.
Yeah. Seasoned PMCs is one.
That joke will hit.
I didn't hear it. I'm sorry.
It said, okay, Michael Proctor.
Oh, well, don't even go down that rabbit hole, please. So Handyman is item crafting time is reduced by 50% and crafting skill starts at 51. No found in raid for hideout. None of the hideout zones require found in raid items. And seasoned PMCs, your character gains 25% more raid XP. I know, a little salt and pepper. So there's some interesting like synergies there where like there's an armor shortage. So the traders are going to sell much less armor, but your crafting time is reduced by 50%. So that might incentivize you to like actually go find items that like you can craft armor plates because that's going to be a better way to do it. So there might be some items that are much more sought after that aren't normally. Like that's kind of cool.
That would be genius. What they need to do is there's that literal like an actual synergy where when you pick 2, there's like a third effect they don't tell you that's like the mixture of the 2.
That would actually be interesting between some of the like buffs and debuffs where like you pick these 2. That actually would be kind of sick. Then they released theirs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 12, 17 positive modifiers to choose from, 4, 8, 12, 13 negative modifiers to choose from. I will say that I'm a little underwhelmed by the list. I still think this idea is really, really cool. I'm really hoping that they like double and triple down. Like I've said since the beginning of this, my take is that how much fun you have on seasonal will have a direct correlation to how different it feels from the main branch. It doesn't need to be zero gravity, but it needs to feel like a different experience, right? And so a lot of these things you can choose from are like, move slightly faster or start with this skill up a little bit or like, your bleed chance is reduced. Like it's cool stuff, but like
there's something that like, but you would never notice. It's like something like that. You move slightly faster. Nobody knows what level 0 speed feels like with like a backpack full of 3 things and armor on.
Exactly. What's level 10 like endurance, but with a backpack at 32 kilos versus level 7 endurance, but no backpack. It's just like, exactly.
If you can choose something and there's a way they could implement it to where it did nothing and you wouldn't know it, that's not exciting.
So I know a lot of the old school guys are excited for some of the negative modifiers. Like Deadly was saying, he's really excited. He's like, I'm really going to be able to do like a true hardcore run where like food and water don't, work as well. I'm allergic to certain things. It's harder for like he's excited for that of like bringing that survival element back. Once again, the 2 things I'm intrigued by are A, where do they go from here? This is season 1. I can totally understand them not wanting to like let the wheels fall off the wagon, even though that's how I would have preferred it. But I really hope that the lesson from this is that like people enjoy the weirdness of the seasonal and that they lean into it. Like I want more I want more insane global modifiers. I want global modifier is Skier and Peacekeeper fucked off. There are no Western weapons. It's all shitty AK. You know what I mean? I want like big stuff. No trader can be leveled past level 2. Would go so hard. Like stuff like that. So I'm intrigued to see how this plays out. I hope they get really good data from it, and I hope they swing for the fences next time. And then the second thing I'm intrigued by, because if seasonal character is literally just like, get your 3 Saluas, get the pocket watch, do setup, do shooter born in heaven, but you have an 11% less chance to break your legs when you fall from height because I picked that, I'm going to be pissed. The patch 1.1 is the patch season 1 comes in. In patch 1.1, one of the line items is we're also getting a reworked task system. So I'm hoping that like what we don't know is what that means. And we know in the past they've said there will be unique rewards for playing the seasonal character. So I'm intrigued on if they have like separate progression or separate quest lines or separate stuff to do for seasonal. I'm hoping the reworked I just hope it feels different. Like I'm just going to be pissed if I select all these cool things and it's just get 3 Saluas, but you can walk 6% faster through bushes and there's no insurance. Like that's just not going to be enough for me.
Yeah.
I love that they're doing this. I love that they're trying it. This is already way cooler. This sounds really offensive, but this is already way cooler than anything I would have expected BSG to come up with. Like this feels like SPT guys made this, and I mean that as a compliment, BSG, if you're watching.
Yeah.
I just really hope they commit. They put their nuts on the table. It has to feel different than the main game.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very ambitious and like open-ended idea.
Yes.
So.
And that's why, like, this isn't a thing where if season 1 doesn't hit, it's not like it's Jover. Like, that's kind of the point, is right? Like, the point of this is a space where they can experiment. So having a season that doesn't hit too super hard could be a good thing if they collect that data and then use it to make season 2 better. So I'm not even like necessarily worried that if this one doesn't hit super hard that, oh man, they failed that seasonal character. I think this is a thing where we give them like a year, however many seasons that is, to like try things, see what they learn from the community. This feels like a part of the long-term support for Tarkov. Like they wouldn't start this and make a big deal about season 1 if they didn't have plans for other seasons. So like this is kind of part of the encouragement of the support for Tarkov past 1.0 and into the future. So I'm super excited about it. I was a little underwhelmed by some of the modifiers, but I'm still super intrigued to see how it plays. And I really hope they, through season 1 and beyond, commit to some crazy, crazy stuff. I think it could be awesome.
I just went down like a whole sort of line in my head. Just thinking about how a future where like imagine the phrase like Tarkov is dead. Imagine that was like a true thing. Like it was really like not many people were playing it. You know, it's like 10 years from now or whatever. And all I was thinking was like it would feel like old Tarkov. If like most of the raids, the raids were really dead and slow, and it felt like actually like abandoned, and like
I've been trying to communicate that because the number one thing people say when we talk about seasonal character is they go, well, it's on separate servers, so they're just going to split the player base, and the raids are going to be dead. I didn't even
think about that.
Yeah. It is. It's on separate servers, and it has to be. The fact that people thought that it would be anything other than separate servers is insane to me. But so the number one thing I get is
that makes it even better.
That's what I'm saying. To your point, the number one thing I get is people are like, yeah, but it's going to split the community and raids are going to be dead. And low key in the back of my head, I'm always like, that's kind of okay. Like IMO.
Yeah. Otherwise go on your non-seasonal character and just run labs all day.
Yeah.
Or whatever the other.
It's like, I don't mind returning to a little bit of that feeling of like, oh, this raid feels quiet. And then bam, you get shot and you're like, oh, I should have, I let my guard down. Like that's how it used to be. But now it's like spawn, fight, scav PMC, scav players, fight, extract. Like I left half the loot behind. And so, And I truly believe that this, if seasonal is done well, it could be the greatest impetus for players to come back to Tarkov. Because I think that's a very common theme among people that played for years, was I just got tired of doing the same thing over and over again. Like, I'm actually writing a script about the seasonal character, and I talk about how in the beginning, the patches came with such meaningful new mechanics that every wipe felt like a completely different game. And that slowly trickled out over time as the wipes were more about like refining. You know what I mean? And then that was when the fatigue set in, because 4, 5, 6 wipes of like, all we're really getting is like some small mechanics, a hideout upgrade, and a new map. That's when the fatigue of like, well, I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. So the thought of all of that changing and all of that changing every season, so every time I come back, it's a different game, I think that could bring a lot of players that stop playing Tarkov back to the game. And so that might kind of offset some of those player splitting, player-based splitting type of things. So, and then I was also thinking, I mean, this is cope, but like, if there are less people in the main account lobbies, that actually might be an on-ramp for some of the PvEers to come back to PvP. Because they're like, oh, it's like the raids aren't as intense, they're not quite as dead. So I think, like, I think it can work where all of them interact pretty well, where there's enough room for both. So, but we'll see. I mean, it could crash and burn. Who knows? But
I just need to go. Like, there's not many. There's never going to be. Obviously, now that it's like released, there's never going to be like an update where like plus Ragman plus interchange in like one update. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Plus, like medical animations. Plus, like those things were so impactful on the gameplay, and like after a while, when you have 9 maps, adding a 10th is a tiny bit, right? When you have 3 maps or 2 maps, adding another one is like, oh fuck,
yes.
Right?
Dude, you're literally like reading off my script. Yeah, but like 100%. Like the way the analogy I use is, at some point, it felt like everything they were, if every patch was a dish they were serving, at some point it became different dishes with the same ingredients. We stopped adding new ingredients. And so it was like every wipe did feel a little different. It did have a new aroma. It did have a new scent. But back in the beginning, it was like we added a protein. We added an entirely new seasoning. And like those those wipes didn't feel as bad because you were like, it just felt so different. And
the bigger things get, the smaller each edition is relative to the whole, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's the whole thing. When there's 2 maps, you add a third, you just 50% increased it, right? Yeah. So the bigger the game got, the less interesting every individual change.
Yes. Yeah. So if they allow themselves to lean all the way into the seasonal, where they just give themselves permission to like just fuck everything up, turn everything upside down, well, then now they have at least the ability, we'll see if they have the execution, but at least the ability to start adding new ingredients again, to start like really changing how things are, because, they know that's the other big question I have is like, how long are seasons? I really hope they're not longer than like 4 months. Like, you know what I mean? I think if there's 6-month seasons, that's just like, you're just going to get in that same trap where like all the momentum just gets like sucked out of the room those last 3 months. I think 3 to 4 months would be like the sweet spot where you give people enough time. Somebody made an interesting, like, what if seasons were 3 months long and there was a month between each season? So 3 seasons a year, but there was like a time where like the player base kind of returned back to the main account and then like a new season started or something like that. Like that could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I just don't want it to be too long.
It ends up in a weird place because you're always going to have one account, but then like your season, like unlike like Diablo or like a lot of the like PoE where there's like, well, actually I don't really know how PoE works enough to talk about it, but like Diablo's like there's seasonal characters and non-seasonal characters.
Yeah.
And then like your seasonal characters at the end of the season just go into the non-seasonal character bin.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like, imagine if you come into Tarkov, you're like, ooh, I want to start this season, but there's a week left. You're not going to start.
True. And they actually showed off in one of the earliest pictures they showed. It was the character selector screen where it shows your PvE character, your main account character, and your seasonal character. And the seasonal one had a countdown. It was like time left in this season. So yeah, that's an interesting thing.
After a certain point, that could be that has the potential to be like a serious major flaw in like the design of seasonal stuff, which is like in the beginning you're building towards something, but then at some point you're just like,
Yeah.
it just makes it so that like, well, the wife's coming up, quote unquote, much
Yeah.
soon. I don't know.
But
maybe it's just the same as wipes.
And I'm interested to see what the rewards are. Like if there are cosmetic rewards or some sort of like, or achievements or whatever tied to each season, then they could kind of peg the average person's progression to that, where it's like you don't necessarily have to commit to getting like max traders or level 42 or get Kappa in a season. Or it's like, oh yeah, I played through the quest line, I got the achievement, I got the I was here thing for this season. And then, you know, you don't necessarily, that might take Desmond a week. It might take your average person like a month and a half, 2 months. But I mean, yeah, there's stuff they could do. Once again, all stuff we don't know. Intrigued to see, but yeah, they did give a little bit of information about that. So that's hitting. That's a July patch. I think the earliest we get it is like last week of July. The Tarkov expansion hub that just came out yesterday was supposed to come in June, and it came out on July 8th. So I think the very last week of July or the first or second week of August is when we can expect season 1 of Tarkov. So, but yeah, that is the stuff. Thank you guys for hanging. Thank you for being here. Thank you for enjoying the content. If you want even more content like this, you can go to patreon.com/thepodcastpod. Get early ad-free access to these episodes, extra episodes we film every week over there. Thank you to The Perfect Gene for sponsoring this episode. Thank you guys for enjoying, and we will definitely see you on the next one.
Adios, amigos.